You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming and programming in other great music formats like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA, listen, and enjoy. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between, like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
This is Michael J. Martin, and you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online.
And we're back. Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. Gary J. Russen with you on Freestyle Friday, the last Freestyle Friday for a while before we go into a little hiatus on Fridays. And there'll be no more Friday shows live. We're going to be changing that a little bit, and I'll give you details here. But right now, though, back to the Gary Russen program on GJRB on Spreaker. What, hon? Well, yeah, they have a whole spread. They got a whole spread on YouTube right now. On Facebook, too. Yeah, we're talking about that. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of good stuff. And you've been watching that parade. That was fabulous. So we'll talk about that here. They had beautiful weather for it, too. Absolutely fantabulous weather. And really made it great to be able to follow the... Yeah, that was Chicago looked beautiful this morning. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I was watching the parade while I was getting things set up for this show, and it was absolutely tremendous in downtown Chicago during that whole thing. It was a beautiful day, and they couldn't have asked for a better day for that parade. Tremendous. We'll talk about that coming up, and along with that, we're going to start our news and comment here now. What used to be news and comment, but is now news. So we're going to delve into that and get into that. But before we do, I'm going to do something here real quick. Something we always do before we do this, and that is, first of all, I got to find my weather here real quick. Let's see here. We'll go down to, that's this one here. Okay. No, I'm not hearing voices like I'm crazy. I'm hearing voices because the radio was on through the mixer and I could hear it in my headphones and I had to turn it off. So that's what that was, basically. So before we get started, I wanted to see if we had some weather in the news, and I went to look for that on my Facebook page. And let's see here. I'm going to go into that. Let me go into, why do I do that? Let's go back in over here, because what I'm looking for actually is something else. Let's see if I had any weather news. Oh, well, let's just do this. This is weather in the news. We're going to talk about this a little later on, but we thought, well, moon, part of weather, clear skies if you see it. So I thought, well, why don't we do this? let's do weather in the news. And basically it's about what's going to happen next couple weeks. Matter of fact, I think it's going to happen on the 14th, November 14th. In the evening is going to be a supermoon. And they say this moon is supposed to be closer than ever. And you will not see it again until the year 2034. Astrologers say this that if you look up in the skies on November 14th, you'll see a supermoon lighting up the night sky, and it will be brighter than anything you've ever seen before. Brighter. Closer. Say it's going to be the biggest supermoon in a long time, so be prepared. I don't know. According to a posting, I'm going to look for it later, they're saying that it is part of an eclipse. But I'm not sure. I don't know if that's just an old posting or not. Kind of get me on that because I'm not sure. So I want to keep an eye on that. I'll find that story. It's in my list, and we'll do it during our news and comment. But, yeah, it's going to be that. So better late than never, and later bed than never. It's time for Weather on the Fives. And a slow-moving low-pressure system is expected to bring showers and thunderstorms to eastern Arizona and much of New Mexico and portions of western Texas on Friday. Rain chances are going to spread eastward into central Texas this weekend. Some of these storms may produce some heavy rainfall that could lead to some flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. So be aware of that one. You want to be on top of that one. They're saying that this is going to be what that is. A frontal system will approach the Pacific Northwest coast tomorrow with heavy rainfall possible along the immediate coast from northern California into western Oregon. And that front will move inland with some scattered rain showers, and the mountains will have snow into Idaho and western Montana. The upper low over the southwest will continue to transport significant moisture northward, with locally heavy rain possible across eastern New Mexico into Texas and Oklahoma. Rainfall amounts over the next couple of days could be in a range of 1 to 2 inches. Otherwise, the rest of the nation looks like they're going to look pretty good, mostly dry. Temperatures could be about 10 degrees over 20 degrees above normal, especially from northern plains to the upper Midwest. The only regions where temperatures are going to stay likely to be at below normal will be the southwest and south central states. They're looking at clouds. Rainfall will keep temperatures down. The other area will be the northeast, along the immediate east coast, where high pressure will dominate with some chilly air. Will be located especially over New England, with a chance for a few rain and snow showers as a shot of colder air moves into the region for Sunday. So look out, folks. We're going to, you know that it was bound to happen. Yeah, temperature change. It was bound to happen. So be looking out for temperature change and cold weather coming your way. Sooner, faster than you expect it to happen. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and I'll talk to you about that coming up. This is the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker. Glad you could be with me, and glad we can join the program. Coming up, we got some more good stuff. We're going in our next segment. I will explain to you more about our program schedule, but we're going to get started with some news for at least about 5 minutes. And then we're going to take another break and go local, and then we're going to come back with more of the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online on Spreaker. Okay, so let's see. Why don't we get started and see what we got here? I'm going to let's see here. We'll take a break about 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back around the corner with more of the Gary Russen program. Meanwhile, the big story, though, is the Cubs got a really cool recording. What sounds like a perfect likeness in voice of Harry Carey, as if he would have been alive to call the final out in the World Series. I'm going to play that one for you later. It's fabulous. You're going to love it. Well, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about this? Black church and the South, I believe it was. Black church in Mississippi burned down with "Vote Trump" painted on the side. See, another deranged fool with their craziness. Okay, they're not saying, though, that it's politically related. They're saying it's racial. Greenville Mayor Eric Simmons calls this a hate crime and an attempt to frighten voters just days before the presidential election. It was then identified as arson. And Mississippi Public Broadcasting interviewed the mayor. Actually, there was I guess it was a press conference, and he's talking about these sick people and this sick deed that was done to a church.
Mayor, thanks for being with us. Thank you so much. What happened last night? At 9:16 last night, the Greenville Fire Department was dispatched to Hopewell MB Church located at 640 North de Lesseps in Greenville for a reported church fire. 4 units responded to the scene to discover a church fully engulfed in flames. The church was vandalized with the words "Vote Trump" spray painted on the side of the church. Now, we have contacted local, state, and federal authorities. We have ATF here, FBI, and NBI, and our state fire marshal here. This is a cowardly and hateful act. It is being investigated as a hate crime, and this act is a direct assault on people's right to freely worship. And so we're looking at this as a hate crime.
Yep, he's calling it a cowardly, it's a hate crime. It's from an interview from the Mississippi Public Broadcasting. He said authorities are taking the persons of interest and they're beefing up security around the local churches in that area and calling for the public not to be intimidated by it in voting on November 8th. Governor Phil Bryant, he's a Republican who had been campaigning for Donald Trump, said that he expects that the suspect will be identified and brought to justice. First, anyone who burns a place down of worship will answer to Almighty God for his crime, and against people of faith, but it will also answer to men's law as well. U.S. Representative Bernie Thompson, the Democrat who in the district includes Greenville, said the fire and graffiti harkens back to a much darker day in Mississippi. Political message with the vandalism was obviously an attempt to sway public opinion regarding the upcoming elections. Mississippi's top election official, Secretary of State Delbert Housman, and a Republican said that people shouldn't jump to conclusions that the church was vandalized for political reasons. And he suggested this. He suggested the initial report suggested it was not a political, but it was a hate crime. Okay, so the hate crime. We'll continue talking about this. Another one. And this is in Mississippi. And, of course, that's the heart of the South. And you know what happened, happened there. A lot of discrimination, a lot of racism. We'll talk about that coming up in our next segment of the Gary Russen program. As the Gary Russen program continues on GJRB. We'll be right back in the next half hour. And, of course, coming up after 4:30, we're going to do continuous nonstop talk. Be right back. Got more coming.